We're always told that building wealth is all about spreadsheets, income, stock picks, the numbers. But what if the single most powerful financial asset you have isn't in your bank account at all, but right between your ears? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea that your financial reality is, in so many ways, a direct reflection of your inner world.
So think about this puzzle. You've got two people. They have the same job, the same salary, they read the same books, they have access to the exact same financial information. But one of them is steadily building wealth, feeling a sense of calm and control. The other? They're constantly stressed out, stuck in debt, and just feel like they're spinning their wheels. On paper, they should be in the exact same spot, but they're not even close.
So what is it? What's the real difference maker here? If it's not how much you earn and it's not what you know, what is it that truly separates these two financial destinies?
Well, the answer is all about psychological mastery. It's the ability to manage the one thing that's present in every single financial decision you ever make. Yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your deep-seated beliefs. That's the real engine driving your wealth, or the lack of it.
And this quote from James Allen just sums it up perfectly. Your bank account, your investments, your debt, in a way, they're all just a mirror. They're showing you exactly what's happening inside your own mind.
I absolutely love this metaphor. Think of your mind as the operating system on your computer. You could have the best budgeting apps, the most sophisticated investment platforms in the world, but if that core OS is corrupted with viruses like fear or self-sabotage or limiting beliefs, well, none of those fancy tools are going to work right. The very first step is to debug the system.
Okay, so how do we even start that debugging process? Well, it begins with developing a brand new skill, awareness. We have to shift from being on financial autopilot, where we're just kind of reacting to everything, to a state of conscious awareness where we can actually choose our next move.
And the tool for this has a name, meta-thinking. Honestly, it's like a superpower. It's the ability to observe your own thoughts as if you were watching a movie. So instead of being in the thought, I'm so bad with money, you step back and just see it. There's that I'm bad with money thought again. That tiny little gap you create between you and the thought, that's where all your power is.
And here's a really practical way to start doing this. First, just practice catching your thoughts, especially when it comes to money. Second, give them a label, but without any judgment. Just, that's a fear thought, or, that's a scarcity thought. Third, you gotta question it. Is this really true? Where did I even learn this from? And then finally, and this is the game changer, you get to choose your response instead of just automatically reacting.
This quote from Carl Jung is just so crucial here. All those unexamined thoughts about money, the ones we picked up from our family or our culture, they are running our lives from the shadows. And we end up thinking our financial situation is just fate or the way things are, when really it's often just the direct result of these unconscious scripts playing out over and over again.
Okay, so awareness is step one. But what do you do when you become aware of that, that inner storm of emotion that money can kick up? Well, that brings us to the next stage, taming that storm and building some real discipline.
This is the cycle that keeps so many people stuck in a loop. It starts with a trigger. Let's say the market drops suddenly. That sparks an emotion, pure panic, which leads to an impulsive reaction, selling everything. Of course, the consequence is you miss the recovery. And all this creates a story we tell ourselves. See, I knew it, I'm just terrible at investing. And that story makes us even more likely to panic the next time a trigger happens.
Now, the goal isn't to stop feeling things. That's impossible. The goal is to stop being hijacked by your feelings. Emotional intelligence lets you use your feelings as data. Instead of being controlled by panic, you can acknowledge it and say, okay, I feel fear right now. That's interesting. What does my long-term plan say I should do? You see? You're being informed by the emotion, not ruled by it.
And this is where discipline comes in. So often we think of it as this harsh, punishing thing, but it's not. The source reframes it beautifully. Discipline is simply the bridge that connects the life you want with the actions you take today. It's the structure you build day by day to walk across from your intentions to your reality.
All right, now we get to the deepest layer. Because beneath our fleeting thoughts and our swirling emotions are the core stories we believe about who we are and what we think we deserve. And this is where the most profound changes can happen.
This thermostat metaphor is incredibly powerful. We all have an internal financial set point, an identity. And if you see yourself as someone who just gets by or is always in a little bit of debt, your subconscious will literally sabotage good opportunities just to keep you at that familiar temperature. To raise your wealth, you first have to raise the setting on your own internal thermostat. Do any of these sound familiar? Maybe a little too familiar? These are what we call money scripts. They're these little stories we've absorbed from our childhood, from society, and they just run in the background of our minds, shaping every decision we make. The first step is just to hear them, to recognize them as stories, not undeniable facts.
So here's the really cool part. You can rewrite these scripts. And this is so important. It's a process. You don't just jump from "I'm terrible with money" to "I'm a financial genius" overnight. You shift to something that's more empowering, but still believable. Like, you know what? I'm capable of learning how to manage my money well. You choose a new story, and then you start taking small actions that prove that new story is true.
And when you do all this inner work, when you build awareness, learn to manage your emotions, and start rewriting your identity, something new starts to emerge. It's not just a set of skills you learned, it's a whole new way of being. It's what we call the investor's mindset.
And this mindset really rests on 3 solid pillars. First, there's patience, the willingness to let things grow slowly over time. Then, detachment, the ability to observe all the market chaos without getting emotionally swept up in it. And finally, conviction, a deep, quiet trust in your own long-term plan, which protects you from chasing the latest hot trend.
And this, right here, is the ultimate shift. You stop wasting all your mental and emotional energy on things you absolutely cannot control, like what the economy is going to do tomorrow or what the market does day to day. Instead, all your focus goes to the few things you can control: your own behavior, your time horizon, your costs, and your commitment to staying invested. That's where the real power is.
This brings us to a much deeper, more meaningful definition of wealth. It's not just a number in an account. It's really a measure of your inner state. It's the capacity you have for clarity and integrity, especially when things get tough. It's a form of self-mastery. And so this leaves us with one final, powerful question to think about. This whole financial journey isn't just about accumulating more stuff. It's a tool for personal growth. So the real question isn't just, what is my money doing? The real question is, who am I becoming in the process? What kind of thinker, what kind of planner, what kind of person are you building? One financial choice at a time.